While you're going down for your H1B visa interview, have you always wondered that what is the visa officer trying to see in you? Have you ever wondered what the 221G is and what 214B is? How is it going to impact you? What happens if you get a 221G? If you have all these questions in your mind, then my dear friend, you have landed in the right channel. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel because today we are going to have an exclusive interview with a former visa officer and he's going to answer all these questions. So make sure you stick around till the end. Hello, namaste, welcome to my channel. I am Pragnya Mishra, your visa and immigration guide. If you're interested in any topics related to visas, immigration, studying abroad, working abroad, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and we will keep you updated with all the latest updates. So today's episode dedicated for the H1B visas is going to be very special, very unique because today we are having a very special guest with us. He is a former visa officer and yes, he's here to answer all your questions. So he will be answering some very common doubts in your minds when you're going for your H1B visa interview. So make sure you watch the episode till the end.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ben. It's really good to be here today and to speak with you. And Pragnya, it's really nice to be here on your channel. I'm a former visa officer. So I was one of the officers in the embassy and the consulates who's behind that window doing the visa interviews, making decisions to issue or to deny sometimes visas. Now, I did that for many years. I did over 60,000 visa interviews. And now, for the last few years, I've been on the outside helping people like you all in the audience today who are applying for H1B visas pass their visa interviews. So hopefully some of that experience that I've got is going to help you. I hope that I can shed some light on the process, maybe dispel some doubts, maybe disprove some myths that might be out there, and help you get on your road to success with your visa interview.
Well, thank you so much. We are having a gem of a person today, and this is definitely going to be helpful for all of our viewers. So without further ado, let's get started. And we are having some questions regarding the H1B visa. As you all know, the H1B visa is in its peak season, and a lot of aspirants are currently waiting to know the verdict of their lottery. So yes, before we move deeper into the topic, I just wanted to ask you, Ben, then what could be some potential issues for the H1B visas?
All right, well, I'll let you know about that from my perspective doing the visa interview. So the lottery is one step in the process, and there's really nothing you can do wrong there other than not submitting the correct documentation. There's no kind of review going on. They're not vetting you. There's no background check. It's the credentials that you present, and then you go through the lottery. Once you get to the interview stage, though, that's where you need to be on your toes to make sure that you do everything right. Because while the H1B has a final approval rate that's pretty high, right? There aren't that many H1Bs that are finally refused. There are a lot that get put into 221G status. And that 221G status can really delay your getting to the US. Sometimes it can turn out to be practically permanent if they just don't do anything for a year, 2 years. You feel like, well, this is just an infinite 221G. So what you need to make sure that you do when you go into the interview, your company is not there with you. Your lawyer, the company's lawyer is not there with you. No agent that's helped you prepare can be there with you. It's just you. And the visa officer expects you to know everything about your case, all the contents of your application, all the contents of your DS-160, the contents of your employment letter, who your end clients might be, all this information that's already been prepared by other parties. You're the sole representative of that information when you go into the visa interview. So you have to be ready to play the role of the lawyer, the company, your boss, everything when you go in. Because when they ask you a question, if your answer is, oh, I don't know about that, my company took care of that, or the lawyers took care of that, that's not a good enough answer for them. They don't accept that as, oh, well, yeah, obviously, someone else took care of that. They want you to be the person that knows everything. So knowing everything is the best way to make sure you don't get stuck in that loop of RFEs. Well, RFEs is on the petition side, but sometimes people still think of it that way. 221G asking for more information. Know everything about your case.
So the 221G, the most dreaded one, of course, for H1B holder, which delays everything. So what do you think is the most important thing that one must keep in mind to avoid this 221G issues?
Well, let me first talk about what is 221G, because not many people actually know what it is, right? They think that it's administrative processing, it's background check, it's the same thing for everybody. That's not true, right? 221G is basically one of three possible results of your visa. One result is they issue the visa. Another result is they refuse the visa. Anything that is not one of those two is considered 221G. It means they don't make a decision right there in the moment, right? So even if all I'm going to do is, let's say that there's a bug or something like that, and I can't confirm some piece of information, and I'm going to wait until after lunch to confirm a piece of information that issue. I still have to put you in 221G for an hour while I go to lunch, and then I come back after lunch and I issue you the visa, because 221G just means your case is pending, right? So there's many different ways you can be in 221G. Maybe they're going to say something like, okay, we don't have your petition system. This happens sometimes where the system from the US and then in India or in other countries that are farther away, they have to sync up, and maybe the petition hasn't actually arrived at post electronically yet. And so they have to put your case in 221G just while they wait for that electronically updated petition to arrive in their system. Right? Obviously, that's a pretty good 221G, because if you're there, you already know that you have an approved petition, nothing bad is going to happen. Now, what you don't want to happen is the visa officer has doubts about your credentials. Then you might be put in 221G and they're asking, no, we need to prove more about your credentials. You also don't want them to doubt the legitimacy of the job that you're going to go to, right? And this happens for a lot of people that are going to jobs where they're going to work for an end client, right? They're working for a talent agency, and then they're going to be placed with an end client. A lot of times the visa officers have questions about this because that format has been used to abuse the system in the past. So sometimes they have a lot of questions about that. The more you know about the specifics and the details of the situation, the more you're going to make them feel confident that they know everything about your case and they don't need to 221G for more information. A lot of times people get put in 221G, even though they have all the answers, right? They could have given all this information, but they get bad advice on the internet. The number one piece of bad advice on the internet is to give short answers. So many sites out there and forums and just, well, you know, just people who aren't really experts, but just people giving their opinions online. They'll say what you should do in the interview is answer with as little information as possible. Give as little information as possible, say as few words as you can, and then you won't mess up. But really, that's a misunderstanding at the basic level of how a visa interview works. The visa officer starts from zero, right? They don't know anything about you. With an H1B, you do have an approved petition, which is supposed to be evidence that you qualify for the visa. But from the visa officer's perspective, they have the final say. They have to confirm everything is good. So they're starting at zero without knowing anything. And they have to get above a certain threshold to feel confident that they can issue that visa and they're doing the right thing. And you can help them. You can help them along in this process. You can make their job easy, which I think is a great thing. You know this, you know, oh, okay, I understand what's going on. This visa officer has to get confident about my case. He's got some papers, some forms, but he doesn't know anything about me. He or she needs to feel confident that I actually qualify for this job, and this job is real and it fits the regulations. So I'm going to tell the visa officer this story. I'm going to tell the visa officer everything that they need to know about this job, about this position, about this company, about my credentials. That's going to make them feel completely at ease and assured that they know everything about my situation and that this visa is good to go. So that's what you need to do, right? Don't go in and give short answers like engineering, level 2 engineer, unemployed. Don't give answers like this. It happens all the time. And the visa officers feel like they're pulling teeth trying to get the visa applicant to just give me some information, please make my job easy. Give me a story. Tell me what this company is, right? Make it easy for them. Just give them that info, right?
Wow, this is a whole new thing to process, I can say. Many people, they are of the impression that one word answers, like you said, giving short answers work. But yeah, this is a whole new different thing. And thanks for sharing this with us.